let's turn now to exploring the Shema, discussions on the issues of Trinity. We are in, this is segment 2. Normally it's 30 minutes long, but we're going to make it extremely short tonight, maybe just 10 minutes actually. And we're in paper 2, Yahweh and Yeshua, part 28 for tonight. And last week, we're in this section, Is Yeshua God? An Appeal to History. And within this section, we've been working through notes from a gentleman by the name of Dr. Beau Branson. And Dr. Beau Branson is, he's assistant professor of philosophy at Brescia University in Kentucky. And his research, as I mentioned earlier last week, focuses on the philosophy of the early church fathers. And what he's going to present for us is some pushback to Dr. Dale Tuggy, who's our representative Unitarian theologian in these particular studies. Dr. Tuggy's research is available online. It's ubiquitous at this point in time as far as Unitarian beliefs are concerned. And what Dr. Branson is going to do is he's going to interact with Dr. Tuggy's research. And particularly tonight, we're going to continue looking at how an appeal to history involves going back to the early church fathers, and instead of just assuming, like Dr. Tuggy, the Unitarian, assumes that the early church fathers believed in the Unitarian position that God is one and that there is no tripersonal aspect to God. In other words, Tuggy's version of articulating Trinity strips it away from its three persons, right? One God and three persons, one what and three who's, like Dr. White is fond of saying. Tuggy rejects the notion that God is tripersonal, that he's made up of three persons. Dr. Branson is a Trinitarian, but what's nice is that Dr. Branson is also an analytic philosopher. He's a theologian along the same field lines as Dr. Tuggy, and so they make for good sparring partners when it comes to having these discussions along the philosophical aspects of this particular topic. So go back and listen to last week's, but let me just read this one paragraph from last week so that we can pull us into this week's topic. Dr. Branson favors an approach known as MT, Monarchical Trinitarianism, and he's going to explain this as it challenges Dr. Tuggy's perspectives of Trinitarian theology and the early church fathers. Again, Dr. Tuggy believes that a plain reading of the apostolic scriptures leads one to the conclusion that the early first century writers such as Paul and Peter and everyone else in the Bible wrote from a Unitarian perspective. That's Dr. Tuggy's conclusion when he reads the New Testament. He believes that the early Testament, first New Testament writers were writing from a Unitarian position, which is founded and grounded upon the what we today would call the monotheistic belief that there's only one God, kind of the way the modern National Judaism or Rabbinic Judaism describes their understanding of God as a singular being without any disparate parts. He doesn't have any persons attached to him. There's just one being known as God, and it's the same person that Tuggy describes as the Father of Jesus. Which, if God is the only God that there is, the only being that can be truly qualified as God in full deity, then Jesus must be some lesser form of deity or lesser form of God that Tuggy identifies as a created being, a creature, a deified creature that is worthy of worship because God has commanded all men to worship the creature known as Jesus. So again, Dr. Branson is going to reject that idea and go back and school Tuggy, as it were, on what not only the Bible itself teaches from the Old Testament leading into the New Testaments, but also what the later patristic fathers, the early church writers from the late first, moving into 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th centuries, the way they articulated Trinity is not primarily Unitarian, but is in fact Trinitarian. And that's where we're going to pick up the research from Dr. Branson. But